And nice and simple, we'll just begin with a few rounds of cat and cow. So exhaling to round your back and drop your chin and tail. Inhaling to reach and lower your belly button towards the mat. Just gently mobilizing our spines. And with our restorative poses today, we'll be moving our spines in all four planes of movement. So forward, back, side to side, and twisting, but all in that lovely, gentle, restorative way where we support all parts of our bodies. And from here, let's find free movement, wiggling around, getting into any little kinks, any little tight bits. Move all the way from the very crown of your head to the tip of your tail. You might take your hips back towards your heels. Lovely. And then take your toes together, knees apart. And let's just take a long child's pose just for a few breaths. Stretching out underside of your arms. Stretching down your back. Let your pelvis be heavy, descend towards your heels. Don't worry if it doesn't come anywhere near them. It's completely normal. Let your breath massage the back of your ribs there. Just feeling that expansion. As you inhale and a softening down as you exhale. Okay, and then let's rise back up to all fours and come down to sit. That's quite enough moving around. So we'll set up for our first restorative pose. So you'll need all of the things. So you want your bolster about a third of the way along your mat. So if my head's going at that end, so it's where my shoulders are going to go. And then my block, where my head's going to go, with the blanket on top of it. So that's going to become a pillow. And then my two pillows or cushions are going to go under my knees. And what we're going to do is drape back over the bolster. So have the bottom tips of your shoulder blades draping back over the bottom edge of your bolster. And we want to be in a position so that shoulders are descending off the top of the bolster. Now, if you've got a really chunky bolster, it might be too much. You might prefer a rolled blanket or something a little bit lower. So you could simply use your blanket as a roll with your head on the mat if that's the case. And then wriggle your pillows so that your knees and the backs of your thighs are fully supported. Head supported, and take your arms out wide so your arms are in that gap between the block and the bolster. Mountain Brook pose. And of course, with each of these postures, we'll be here for several minutes each time. So make any little adjustments that you need to really settle in and be comfy. With restorative, we are looking for not a deep stretch. So any sense of stretch should be mild and diminish over time. What we're looking for is real support of all parts of our bodies so that the really deep layers of musculature can release. The deep postural muscles, they can just soften into the support and release out tension. So scan your attention from the tips of your toes, up your legs, your back, your torso, shoulders, neck and head. Let it be kind of a reacquainting yourself with your body. What feels a little tighter? What feels like it might need a little nourishment? As your breath starts to deepen and slow down, can you have a sense that with each inhale, you're taking in that nourishment, and with each exhale, you're sending it to that place, to any places that need a little extra support. And let every exhale be a signal to your body to release a little more into the support beneath you. Signal that whatever you've been carrying today, be it physically, mentally, emotionally, energetically, that you can put that down now. And that in each inhale, really fill that space of your chest and rib cage that's expanded by the shape that you're in. So that the sense of releasing and softening and letting go is complemented by this feeling of brightening, revitalizing and restoring. The focus that I'm using in classes this week is one of the principles of yoga called Santosha, which means contentment. It's very much to do with gratitude. The Yoga Sutra tells us that from contentment and gratitude come unsurpassed happiness. So it's the idea that no matter what might be going not according to plan in our lives at the moment, by choosing to redirect our attention on what is good, what is supporting us and helping us, we can shift our awareness into a happier place. We generally find what we're looking for. And our lives consist of what we give our attention to. So in this space with your heart area expanded, I might like to call to mind something that you are grateful for, something that you appreciate about your life at the moment. We'll spend one more minute here. Three more lovely, full, expansive breaths here. And at the end of that third breath, you don't need to move a great deal in terms of props for our next pose. So just bend your knees so that your feet are flat on the mat and kick your pillows out of the way so that your legs can extend onto the mat itself. And then just roll over to your left side. I'm going to come into a side stretch. You might like to put the pillows up over your head along the floor in line with your mat. The left side of your rib cage, not your waist, but your rib cage is on the bolster. Left side of your face is on your little block and blanket arrangement. And your right arm is going to reach alongside your right ear, and you might like to rest your hand on those pillows. Knees curled up in fetal position. And that left arm and left shoulder is descending in the space between your bolster and your block. And that might be plenty, or if you'd like to make the release a little bit longer along the whole length of your body, you could start to straighten that top leg. So send it out long and maybe even a little bit behind you. And have a little bend in it and just rest it down onto the mat. And with any and all of these postures, if what I've offered doesn't feel quite right or doesn't feel good, please feel free to modify however you need to. This is your practice, your body. All of this wants to feel good and supported and nourishing. And let there be a sense now of breathing into that exposed right side of your rib cage, so that each breath gently expands the ribs away from each other, and there's a gentle stretching and massaging of your excuse me, your intercostal muscles. And the idea of Santosha, contentment, as well as being about gratitude, is very much about being in the here and now. Having the ability to come back to the quiet space that we all know is inside of us. That's the place that we find in the quieter moments of our yoga practices, perhaps when we're in nature, or any of those moments when we feel that we are in flow and just totally engaged with what we're doing. It's kind of a little private yoga retreat inside you. And stuff happens and we get caught up in it and caught up in the stories in our heads about it. But once you know that there's that quiet place there, you can remember and come back to it. And you might have to remember many, many times a day. But once you know it's there, when you remember that it's there, when you can take a step back and see how you're getting caught up in things, you can recognize that you may not be able to do anything about an external situation at that point in time, but perhaps you can remember that quiet place inside you, that quiet inner retreat. And perhaps that can start to shift the way you respond. Perhaps that can start to shift you into a place of more clarity, a place of contentment. Being able to meet whatever arises with equanimity, even when it's very much not what you would have chosen. 3 more breaths here. Let them be really full, luxurious breaths. At the end of that third exhale, if you've extended your top leg, draw it back in to meet its friend. And slowly lower your arm by your side. And move really slowly so you don't disturb yourself too much. I'm just going to switch to the other side by rolling over onto our backs and wriggling around so that the right side of our ribs is on the bolster. Reset, beginning with legs in fetal position. Reach that top arm overhead if you did so on the other side. And then perhaps play with extending that top leg out long and or behind you. Breath expanding the left side of your ribs now. Allowing a sense of brightening, or massage. I like to imagine my ribs in this position as like the slats on a Venetian blind or a shutter, where the more you open them, those beautiful rays of light start to peek through. It's as though your inner light with each breath shines a beautiful fan of streams of light out through your ribs. So contentment and gratitude turns what we have into enough so that we can move forward. It doesn't stop us from inviting more in, other things in, but it shifts us out of a place of feeling that we lack something. There's a really lovely quote by none other than Oprah Winfrey. She says, be thankful for what you have, and you'll end up having more. If you concentrate on what you don't have, you will never, ever have enough. Let's take 3 more breaths here. And then after that 3rd breath, really slowly move your top leg back in if you've extended it. Top arm comes to your side. And put your left hand on your bolster and press yourself up slowly and smoothly. And just a little reset here. I'm just going to turn the bolster 90 degrees so that now the end of it is resting on that block and blanket arrangement. I'm going to move into a twist. So wriggle the right side of your hips up to your bolster and take your hands either side of the bolster and set your legs up so that they're both at 90 degrees and your left leg is bent slightly behind you. Your right foot is cupping that left knee. And then as you inhale, really find lots of length in your spine, like you're trying to lift your rib cage away from your pelvis. And then exhale and fold forwards over that bolster. And turn your cheek whichever side feels most comfortable. Again, readjust as much as you need to if you feel like you want the bolster further away from your belly or a little closer to you. Notice if you're carrying any tension there in your shoulders, let them soften and descend down. So it's like your shoulders are actually starting to hug around the bolster. There's a really lovely writer who writes a lot about yoga and meditation called Dana Folds. And she has this to say about expectations and gratitude. Let go of the ways you thought life would unfold, the holding of plans or dreams or expectations. Save your strength to swim with the tide. The choice to fight what is here in front of you will only result in struggle, fear, and desperate attempts to flee from the very energy you long for. Let that go and flow with the grace that washes through your days, whether you received it gently or with your quills raised to defend against invaders. Take this on faith. The mind may never find the explanations that it seeks, but you will move forward nonetheless. Let the wave's crest carry you to unknown shores, beyond your dreams or destinations. Let your expectations go and find the place of rest and peace and gratitude within, and so certain transformation. Let's take 3 more breaths this side. And then when you're ready, slowly, gently press into your hands to raise your torso. And take your hands behind you so that you can just swing your legs over to the other side. Pivot around so that your left hip is up to the bolster. Reset your legs, 90-degree angle. Hands either side of your bolster. And as you inhale, reach long with your spine. And as you exhale, soften yourself down. Let there be a sense of gratitude and contentment for this body that you're in, exactly as it is right now. We're all animated by the same force. And right down at beyond a molecular level, at a subatomic particle level, it's the same energy that makes trees grow and the wind blow. It's all the same stuff, all this life force. It's amazing. Your very existence in this miraculous body is amazing. It heals itself. It regenerates itself. You don't have to think about the gazillions of processes that go on to keep it all running. It all just happens. If you choose to see everything as a miracle, then where you are right now is perfect. There's nowhere to run to, there's nothing else to do except be in this moment and allow what is to be. From that place of radical acceptance, major change can happen. The first step in any transformational experience is acceptance and surrender to the present moment, the way that it is. Surrender doesn't mean giving up hope. It means being honest and real about where you are right now. And then from that place, we have the awareness, humility, and power to change what is moving forwards. Three more breaths here. And then with minimal disturbance, press your way upright. And we'll reset for our final pose before we go into Yoga Nidra. So we're going to move into a forward fold. So take your blanket, sit on the blanket so that your hips are tilted forwards slightly, so you're right on the edge of that blanket. And then slide your bolster under your knees. Have your pillows handy either side of your legs, because there's an option there to use those. What we're going to do is simply curl forwards over our legs. And you might like to rest your head on the block. You might like to rest your head in your hands and put your elbows on your knees or on the bolster. And then there's an option to have the pillows underneath your heels. That feels nice in some bodies and not in others, so just experiment with that. I'm going to be here for just 3 minutes for this one. So let your head be supported by something, even if it's just your hands. Unless it feels really good to let it hang, then obviously do that. Feel the breath moving into the back of your body now. Expanding those little shutters of the back of your rib cage. So the light can spread out and the light can move in. It's as though you're bowing in towards your heart. Not just your physical heart, but the energy of your heart chakra. If you have any difficulty with the idea of chakras, contemplate the way you feel when you are truly proud of something or so full of love for something. All those expressions like, my heart feels fit to burst. There is a genuine feeling in that center of your chest, isn't there? That's the energy. That's the inner teacher. Let's take 3 more breaths here. Let that third exhale be really complete, really empty out. And then ride the wave of that inhale back to upright. Shift your blanket out from under your hips and make your way back onto your back, you might like to keep your legs over your bolster as they are, and make your way into Shavasana. So shift your props however's going to feel good for you. Get yourself cozy, any extra layers. If your room is quite bright, you might like to cover your eyes or dim the lights. And get really cozy and settle in. As it's the evening, I won't wake you, so to speak, to come into a fully seated position at the end. I will let you know when Yoga Nidra is finished. And of course, if you like to finish by sitting up, that's your option. But please also feel completely free to stay right where you are. And I will quietly say goodbye and log off. Totally your choice. So make any final little adjustments that you need now. And really get into the details if there's a hair tickling your nose or a seam of clothing that's bugging you. Attend to that now so that you can really get yourself into a place where you just don't want to move. There's just no desire for movement. No need for fidgeting, no need to do anything. No need to do anything other than lie back and loosely be guided by the process of Yoga Nidra. No analysing any of the words. Just let them wash over you and loosely follow along as we put the body into a sleeping state and the mind into a sleeping state. But that deep conscious awareness remains. Take a deep full inhale now. And let that subsequent exhale be like a whole body sigh as you welcome yourself into this space of Yoga Nidra. Where your mind can lie down, your body can lie down, and there is simply an awareness that I am practicing Yoga Nidra. Let the back of your body feel totally supported and almost like it's melting into the mat, the floor, and
Go beyond that into the earth, the planet that you're resting on. The planet is coming up to greet you. The air and atmosphere around you is nourishing you. And let that air, that life force, flow in and out without any conscious effort now. There is simply an awareness of yourself being breathed. You are not having to do it. You don't have to do anything. You are exactly where you're supposed to be. And nobody wants anything from you. Simply an awareness of chest and belly rising and falling. Breath arising, pausing, dissolving, pausing. If you have a sankalpa, a highest vow or intention that you are welcoming into your life in this new year, call that to your awareness 3 times now. Perhaps there's a word. You may simply choose to repeat to yourself 3 times, I am content, or I am grateful. And let that intention blossom in your heart space at the center of your chest now. Let that energy expand and grow. And we'll move awareness on a journey of sensation around your body. So let your awareness travel now across your right collarbone and right shoulder, and all the way down your your right arm to your right thumb. And let it alight on the tip of your right thumb. A feeling there of contentment, of gratitude. From thumb to fingertips, your index finger, middle finger, fourth finger, and little finger. Palm of your hand, back of your hand, wrist, right forearm, elbow, upper arm, shoulder, right collarbone, and traveling across your left collarbone, left shoulder, and all the way down your left arm to your left thumb. Index finger, middle finger, fourth finger, and little finger, palm of your hand, back of your hand, wrist, forearm, left elbow, upper arm, shoulder, left collarbone, heart center, right side of your chest, left side of your chest, right ribs, left ribs, upper abdomen, lower abdomen. Gratitude for everything within there. Amazing organs. Right hip, left hip, right thigh, right knee, shin, right ankle, top of your foot, right big toe, second toe, third, fourth toe, little toe, sole of your foot, heel, right calf, back of your knee, back of your thigh, right buttock, sacrum, tailbone, left thigh, and left knee, shin, ankle, top of your left foot, big toe, second toe, third toe, fourth toe, little toe, sole of your foot, heel, calf muscle, back of your knee, back of your thigh, and left buttock, tailbone, sacrum, each of your lower vertebrae, warmth of gratitude traveling up each segment of your spine to your waist, to your mid-back, traveling up, upper back, every vertebrae and part of your spinal cord, Right shoulder blade, left shoulder blade, traveling up your spinal cord and each vertebrae to your upper back and your neck. Gratitude for this amazing structure, this amazing superhighway of information. Back of your head, your brain, the crown of your head, right ear, left ear, forehead, right eyebrow, left eyebrow, that space between your eyebrows, seat of insight, right eye, left eye, your nose, right cheek, left cheek, top lip, bottom lip, your tongue and your teeth, chin, throat, heart center. Gratitude for heart and lungs breathing you. Your right arm, the whole right arm, left arm, whole left arm, both arms together, right leg, left leg, both legs, both arms and both legs, whole of your torso, whole of your head, whole of the back of your body, whole of the front of your body, both arms, both legs, whole torso, whole head, whole back body, whole front body, whole body together, lying here safe and well and supported, being breathed, body sleeping, mind sleeping, consciousness aware. I am practicing Yoga Nidra. Breath flowing effortlessly in and out. And we come now to invite opposite sensations. We begin as though we are zooming way in with a camera to the tiniest particle in this incredible body of yours, the tiniest subatomic particle, and feeling yourself as microscopically small as that particle. Feeling yourself tiny in the vast universe that surrounds you. And then, as though zooming out, feeling yourself growing larger and larger as your consciousness expands out to the very outer reaches of that universe, and feeling yourself as vast as that whole universe. Beyond comprehension, huge, all-encompassing. Absolutely minute, absolutely vast. How would it be if you were both of these things at the same time? Releasing from that, resting between those opposites, being both at the same time as you are. We move now to visualizing. Take your awareness to that space where you see, even when your eyes are closed. Let each image arise and then fade as it's mentioned. A candle flame in a darkened room. A full moon in the night sky. A great oak tree. Snow-topped mountains. An Egyptian pyramid. Birds flying silhouetted against a sunset. A log fire crackling. A tiny candle flame. If you have an intention or sankalpa, or simply the words, I am content or I am grateful, call those to your awareness 3 times now. May today there be peace within. May you trust that you are exactly where you're meant to be. May you not forget the infinite possibilities that are born of faith in yourself and others. May you use the gifts that you have received and pass on the love that has been given to you. May you be content with yourself just the way you are. Let this knowledge settle into your bones and allow your soul the freedom to sing, dance, praise and love. It is there for each and every one of us. As this yoga nidra begins to draw to a close, allow your form of conscious awareness to be, I have been practicing yoga nidra. At each inhale, draw in energy. Each exhale, be a settling of contentment into your bones. You may like to remain exactly as you are, or you may start to find little movements in your body. This practice of yoga nidra is now complete. May its blessings go with you. This practice of yoga nidra is now complete. Namaste.